the Divorced Girl Smiling Podcast with your host, Jackie Pilosoff.
No one should have to go through a divorce feeling alone and isolated. The Divorced Girl Smiling Podcast is a production of Divorced Girl Smiling, where every show is 30 minutes aimed to empower you, help you feel validated and understood, and connect you with some of the best divorce professionals in the industry. So grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and start smiling as you join us right now for the Divorced Girl Smiling Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found and always at divorcedgirlsmiling.com. Before we get started, I want to tell you about a wonderful company called My Divorce Solution. Karen Shalhoub and Catherine Shanahan, the co-founders, are on a mission to change the way people get divorced. They built the company My Divorce Solution, which offers a divorce preparation platform to help you get divorced and save time, money, and frustration. You still obtain a divorce lawyer or a mediator, but My Divorce Solution is going to help you get to a settlement so much quicker. And here's how it works. You pay a one-time fee, and then you begin working with My Divorce Solution, gathering your financials and basically doing discovery, which you have to do anyway. Essentially, what this platform does is cut out tons of billable hours that you would pay your attorney to do this for you. It gives you a framework. They have what's called a divorce financial portrait to help you make decisions and to help you get the best possible divorce outcome. If you want to learn more, visit mydivorcesolution.com. I also want to tell you about a wonderful therapy group called Affiliates in Counseling. They have offices in Chicago and in the suburbs. I have known Jason Price, the co-founder, for probably 15 years and absolutely love so many of the therapists I've met there. And a lot of them have specialties in divorce, in seeing individuals, families, and kids. If you want to learn more about this wonderful practice, go to affiliatesincounseling.net. And lastly, I want to tell you about a great divorce coach named Lisa Lisser. Lisa is so positive, so inspiring, so energetic. She is a former attorney turned coach. She went through a divorce. She's an educator, and she will help you make the best decisions throughout your divorce. And Lisa also has a lot of spirituality in her, and she's just really smart and upbeat and loves helping women through divorce. If you want to learn more about Lisa, go to lzlcoaching.com. And you can find all of these trusted professionals in the Trusted Professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling. If you are going to mediation for the first time, it can feel really scary, intimidating. You don't know what you're doing. You're afraid you're going to walk out of there with, they're going to pressure me into saying something. The reason I'm saying this is I went through it and this is how I was feeling. So what I want to talk about today is what not to say during mediation. I think it'll help you prepare and maybe help you get a better outcome in mediation. My guest to talk about this is Ellen Feldman. Ellen is an attorney and a divorce mediator. Hi, Ellen.
Thanks for having me, Jackie.
Well, always nice to be here with you, Ellen. And I want to tell my listeners, Ellen's been a mediator at CEL and Associates with Brian James. The two of them mediate together, and they've been doing it for like 15 years, right?
17 and a half.
Oh, 17 and a half. And Ellen wrote this article for Divorced Girl Smiling like maybe a year ago called What Not to Say During Mediation. And it did so well. It got so many clicks and got a lot of engagement. So we decided to do a What Not to Say During Mediation Part 2. So we're going to start with the What Not to Say During Mediation Part 2. We're going to talk about some things. If we have time, we'll do more. How about that?
Perfect.
Okay. So the first thing, Ellen, is, and by the way, Ellen has heard all of these things that we're about to say in mediation. You might be thinking, there's no way someone said that, but they did. The first one is, you wanted the divorce, so you need to pay for the mediator. People say that.
People say it all the time.
And what is the why? I mean, obviously we know that that's not a good thing to say, but what's a better thing to say if you want your ex to pay for the mediator?
I'm sorry we're at this point. I'm sorry we're getting divorced. You really wanted this, or you caused this. Would you be willing to pay for it? Or you make more money than I do. Would you be willing to pay?
Or
The mediator.
things are really tight right now. I'm really nervous. I have a lot of fear and anxiety about money. I would appreciate if you would consider paying for the mediation.
Right.
Okay. So doesn't that make sense? So through this whole podcast, we're going to talk about like how to say things and frame things in a better way so you get what you want, and always in a nicer way. Okay.
And also remember, Jackie, that until the point when you decide you're splitting finances, everything's marital anyway. So unless the other person's taking it out of some, personal account or inheritance or something that's essentially off the table, his or her retirement account, whatever, it's essentially all marital money anyway. So you're just playing games to say, you pay, I don't want to give you money for this. It's essentially all marital money until such point as you decide it's not.
So if you, God forbid, had to go to a judge and litigate, it would come out of marital funds
Exactly.
anyway. But everybody's situation is different. And maybe the couple was living, she's using her paycheck, the husband's using his, he's making 4 times more than her. And now she's saying, would you mind paying these bills?
Exactly.
Okay. Number 2, you cheated on me, so I should have the parenting schedule I want for our children. Or even worse, you don't deserve time with our children because you cheated. People have said that
all the time.
Okay, so what should somebody say? Now, I know you cheated on me isn't a very good thing to say, because right away it brings up the defenses. Well, you did this, and you're going to get into like a pissing match. So if you want a parenting time schedule, you have it in your mind, what is a good way to go about getting what you want?
Present it in terms of, because Joey does soccer on Tuesdays and I'm his coach, I think it would be good if I had Tuesdays. Or you travel for work all the time, so you really can't have a 50-50 schedule. If you put it on the kids, as opposed to blame, which is clearly what that statement is, you cheated, you wanted the divorce, you're the bad guy or girl in all of this, so I'm not giving you what you want in terms of time with our children.
All right, so what we're telling you, if you're listening to this, is cheating, faults, anything the person did wrong, leave it out of the conversation completely.
Focus on the kids as much as you can.
Also, Ellen, what do you think about this idea? If I was getting divorced now, by the way, I got divorced, for people listening, in 2008. I made every mistake you could possibly make. So I'm saying what I would do now. I would write down a schedule that I wanted, that worked for me and the kids, that would make the most sense, and then go from there. You might have to tweak it a little in mediation because of your ex, but have a schedule down that you want, and then present it with facts to back up why you want it.
And why it's good for your children.
Perfect.
And not, this is what I want, this is what's best for me, this is why I want this. Or if you present it in terms of, the kids' schedules are this, I think it's best for them to sleep at my house during the week, whatever the reasons are, and the ages of the kids obviously play into that. But if you can focus on, this is what's best for our children, it's easier for your soon-to-be ex-spouse to hear what you're saying.
Okay, now the next one is kind of a tough one. I saved for our retirement, but you're divorcing me, so I shouldn't have to share it 50-50. So, I mean, I know what you're going to say.
It's tricky, but that's Illinois law.
So Illinois law is a no-fault. Illinois is a no-fault state.
Correct.
Ellen, out of all the 50 states, how many would you guess are no-fault states, or do you know the answer?
I do not know the answer. I'm assuming more
Than
than
not.
you would think.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that the hard part is you often have spouses where one person is more of a saver than the other, and one is, spending money on all kinds of things the other person might think are, you know, extraneous, not essential, whatever word you want to use. So when you then say, this is my hard earned retirement, I don't want to give you half of it. Not only does it sound mean, but a judge isn't going to buy that unless there are reasons why it's appropriate for you not to give as much.
Okay, so I think what Ellen is saying is that, and tell me if I'm right, if you live in Illinois or any no-fault state, so just Google, is Texas a no-fault state if you live in Texas, and find out. If you're in a no-fault state, your ex is entitled, and you, to 50% of all of the assets that you have made since the day you got married.
Unless there are reasons why that shouldn't happen. One person is disabled and can't work. One person is much older than the other and will be retiring sooner than the other one. There are reasons to vary from 50-50, but the presumption is that you're going to split retirement in a way the judge is going to deem equitable.
Okay, so what Ellen was saying about maybe being frustrated is that, let's say you have a 401k and every month you put in the max and you've been doing it for 10 years. Your ex, on the other hand, has only put in 3%, and now you have to split his account and your account. You put them together and you split it down the middle. So you're sort of getting, it's not very fair.
Right.
But
right.
in Illinois, that's technically the way they would do it if there aren't these other circumstances.
Right. And often there are reasons to differ from that, like the few things that I just said. Or, one person has been a stay-at-home mom forever and has much less retirement and is now in a booming career and has good upward potential, but not as much money in retirement. So in theory, should that mom or dad, whoever's been the stay-at-home parent, get more of the other person's, or split it in a different way than 50-50? Maybe.
And also, okay, the person has the potential to make a lot of money, but what if you've only been at the job for 3 months? You don't know what's going to happen. The company could lay you off tomorrow.
Sure.
So that doesn't sound fair to me. So if I was in mediation, I would say, I've only been with this job a short time. I hope it works out. I think right now I deserve to have a little bit more of a stake in the savings. That's how I would say it.
Exactly.
You're listening to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. Today, I'm here with divorce mediator Ellen Feldman, who is with CEL and Associates. And Ellen and I are talking about what not to say during mediation. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we have so many more. Wait, let me see how many more. We've done 3. We have at least 5 more.
Sure.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back. When I got divorced, I went through a divorce without any divorce coaching, simply because divorce coaches didn't exist yet. And I can say personally how important it is to get that support during and after divorce. It would have made a huge impact both in my emotional state and in the outcome of my divorce. If you are interested, Andra Davidson is a certified divorce coach and mediator who has come up with an online course called Better Than Before Divorce. It entails 4 content-rich modules with topics that include conflict and compromise, healthy boundaries, effective communication, and showing up as your best self. This is a self-guided course that you can take if you don't want to hire a divorce coach, or you can't afford one, or you want it to take the course while you're working with a divorce coach. Can't say enough about this course. It's going to help you emotionally get through the divorce, get a good outcome, and help you with your post-divorce life. If you want to learn more, go to betterthanbeforedivorce.com. I also want to tell you about a wonderful mortgage lender named Tracy Flanagan. So Tracy has been a mortgage lender for, I want to say, decades. She loves the business, but she especially enjoys working with women during and after divorce. She can help you get a mortgage in all 50 states. She works for a credit union, so she tends to have cheaper rates. And Tracy's just really, really smart and experienced. If you want to learn more about Tracy, you can find her at greenstate.org, and you can find both Tracy and Andra and Better Than Before Divorce in the Trusted Professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling. Welcome back to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. Are you headed for mediation, or are you in mediation? Or do you have to go back to mediation and you're feeling scared, intimidated, don't know really what you should say? Well, we're talking about what not to say. My guest is divorce mediator Ellen Feldman. Ellen and her business partner, Brian James, are with CEL and Associates. They've been mediating together for 17 and a half years. And what's nice about working with Ellen and Brian, who, by the way, see clients in Illinois and Wisconsin, and if you work with them, you get them both. So you're getting two people, a man and a woman with very different backgrounds. And so there's more, I would think, creative thinking going on.
Absolutely.
Love it. And I love Brian too. I got to tell you, great person, really experienced too.
And we also each have different experience in the court system. He is a parenting coordinator. He was a probation officer. I did commercial litigation for 15 years, not divorce, but we both know what can happen if you go to court and leave your case up to a judge's whim on that
And
day.
you're looking at it from entirely different perspectives.
For sure.
Love it. CELandassociates.com. Okay, we're moving on to number 4 of what you should not say in mediation. I do not want to pay spousal support, share my salary, or share my bonus. It should be just for me because we won't be married any longer. Somebody actually said that?
All the time.
Okay, don't you feel like people who make a lot of money and work a lot, I don't want to just say men because there's women too, they work so hard and now it's like they're really scared and insecure about money. And that's really where this is stemming from. Although it could also be resentment. You're leaving me. Why should I have to pay you?
That, and you don't ever know what led up to the divorce. So you have all this stress. You get to the point where you say, okay, I'm done with this. You get divorced. You have your kids. You have your schedule. And you can finally breathe and say, now I can give all I have in my job. Now I don't have to worry about the stress of going through the divorce and fighting with him or her. And now I can really focus on my job. Why should I have to share that money with my ex-spouse?
So if you're in that position, what should you say instead? Because we've already said legally you're going to have to share it.
Right. And you do have to share, you do have to pay child support or spousal support. Those are a matter of Illinois law. You can, in theory, negotiate. I don't want to share my bonus. You get your own $20,000 bonus a year. I get mine. I'd rather not share those. That, in my mind, is negotiable in mediation, but you can't say, my money's mine and I'm not sharing it.
So what's a better way to say it?
I think it would make sense if we come up with a different plan for deviating from the child support guidelines or the spousal support guidelines. I travel for work. I'm not as available for the kids. I need to give my job more energy. I am going to be making more money. I have the opportunity to make more money. I would like not to share my bonus.
No, that would be, I would like you to share your bonus. That sounds like
it works both ways.
Okay, so again, if you're listening to this, write down on a piece of paper what you really want, what you think it should look like, because that's going to help you. Because you can't just go into mediation and say, I don't know, we could figure it out, but I think I deserve more of your bonus or whatever. You have to have like a plan, right? If you have a plan, it could change, but at least you have something concrete. And then you can also think of reasons why, because I had a great boss, Margalit, used to say this: if you want something, you should have something to back it up, a reason why you want it.
Absolutely.
Have something to back it up. And by the way, this is a great thing that I want to share with you. A divorce coach can help you do all this. So if you hire a divorce coach and tell the divorce coach what you want, the divorce coach will actually help you in what to ask for and what to say as to why you think you deserve it.
And a good mediator will also reframe, restate, say something in a different way so that your spouse can maybe hear in a better way what you're proposing.
Well, if you're listening to this podcast, you won't have to have the mediator do that. All right. So we have time for a couple more. Okay. Another one. My attorney said I can have the house in our settlement. My attorney said it should be mine. Do you hear that?
All the time.
Okay. Why do attorneys do this? Or is the person just saying the attorney said that and they didn't really say
No, I think the attorney probably did say that. I mean, it's very frustrating to me when couples come to us, they've already hired an attorney, but they still believe that they can use that as a threat to their spouse. If you are mediating, if you are in good faith, negotiating with your spouse in a way that is fair and appropriate, you shouldn't be threatening. My lawyer said this is what's going to happen. My lawyer said I can have this if we go to court.
Okay. Now, is it okay to say, I've talked with my attorney and we agree that I should keep the house because blah, 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 blah? Or do you just leave the attorney out of it?
I would leave the attorney out of it.
Because what happens when people bring up the attorney?
The other person feels threatened. The other person feels belittled. The other person feels compromised, like they're not going to get what they want anyway. So why bother mediating? When people come to us,
when they hear the word my attorney,
yeah, my attorney said, right. My
Mm-hmm.
attorney said this is going to be mine.
Okay, so basically we're telling you to just do not say my attorney said the entire time you're in mediation.
Right. It is appropriate.
Okay.
It's appropriate, I think, to say, I understand what you're saying. I'm happy to discuss that with my attorney to see if he or she thinks that's a fair way to resolve this issue. But you don't use your attorney as a threat. Because then the other person is going to say, well, what am I doing in mediation?
And then the other person's going to say, well, my attorney said this. And then you're going to get in a big fight about your attorneys who are supposed to be sort of against each other in this conflict when you're in mediation to avoid conflict.
Right. Or the other person's going to say, wow, he or she has an attorney who's promising the sun and the moon and the stars. I better go use my money or our marital funds and get my own attorney who's going to be able to fight with his or her attorney, which is not the goal of mediation.
Okay, this is a biggie. Another thing you shouldn't say in mediation, this might be the last one, although we might have time for one more, but I didn't want to miss this one because Ellen, you've told me before what a big deal this is. I am really a big Christmas person. I do so much more than you. I do all the prep. So I feel like I should have the kids every Christmas. Ellen's nodding.
And your spouse, soon to be ex-spouse, is going to be in tears by the time you finish that sentence. That is the single most issue that our clients cry about, is giving up the opportunity to have Christmas Eve.
Well, first of all, if you even mention Christmas during a divorce, everyone's in tears because that is huge for people. And it's so sad. And they're dealing with all these other emotions surrounding Christmas that might have nothing to do with custody, which actually, though, is the biggest thing, the kids. But they're dealing with, we're no longer going to have a family Christmas. I might not even be in the house this Christmas. We always do this. We always do this. Maybe now we can't afford this. And so there is so much going on. Okay, tell me how to deal with Christmas if you're going into mediation.
So I would say, I mean, as the mediator, I would propose you alternate year after, year by year. You get Christmas Eve and odd years. I get Christmas Eve and even years. Or
And then the other person gets Christmas Day.
the other person gets Christmas
Okay.
Day. We start with, what are your family traditions? What do the grandparents on dad's side do Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? What do the grandparents on mom's side do Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? So you feel like you still get your traditions to include your children in your parents' holiday, but on your watch, if you're not getting Christmas Eve, then you say to your kids, you know what? Christmas Day, you're sleeping at my house. You'll wake up, you'll open presents with me. You use it as an opportunity to create new traditions.
Okay, there's also the factor of like, who are the people we see? Maybe the kids always see their aunt and uncle on their mom's side. So there's that to consider too. There's like other family relatives. And then there's just so many, maybe there's like a volunteer thing you do as a family or an outing or anything, even a breakfast, like a special pancake breakfast or whatever. And I think what Ellen's trying to say is that the goal is to maintain the traditions as much as possible.
True.
And make sure the kids are okay.
And make sure
you're okay.
Make sure you're okay too.
Uh-huh.
That's important. Like, this is my most favorite holiday. I need to make sure I feel like I still get to do X with the kids.
Okay, now I really feel like the message that we're trying to say is be really ultra sensitive when you talk about Christmas.
For sure.
And by the way, Thanksgiving, yes.
Any holiday, Thanksgiving, hiding Easter eggs, Hanukkah. I mean, whatever the holiday, you have and your children have their own understanding of what that holiday means to them. And as much as you can preserve that going forward, you want to.
I just love this. Should we do one more, even though, all right.
Sure.
Okay, we're going to do the last one, which is, because this is big, I'm keeping the house because it's best for the stability of our kids and I don't want to move. People say that?
Always.
Okay, so tell me what somebody listening should say if they really want the house and it's the biggest deal to them.
Someone should say, I think it would be really good for our kids to have another year in the house until Joey goes to middle school. We're out of the.
What if they want the house? What if they say, I just don't want to move forever?
Well, I mean, they can say that. It's unrealistic. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they can't afford it. I mean, what I would hope someone would say is, if I can't afford it, I would like to keep the house for a couple of years so that our children have the stability of their bedrooms, their toys, their stuff, their neighborhood, their kids down the block, their friends down the block who they can go and ride a bike with and play with. But if you present it as, I want to keep it forever, when you don't even know if you can afford to keep it, it's going to make your spouse angry.
Forever seems like a really long, expensive time.
Exactly.
Okay, so in all of the cases that you've mediated, what percentage, if you can think of this, do people really fight over the house? Or is it just pretty much like, yeah, you can have the house, or are there fights about it?
We have a couple right now where the kids are all grown and married or living independently or whatever, and the husband and the wife are fighting vehemently.
Both want the
house.
But don't you think that's kind of unusual?
I do.
Okay.
Most people, I think, would either be interested in a fresh start, be willing to rent instead of own this big, huge house where they raised 5 kids and they really don't need it. Most people are not that adamant about a house forever. I certainly understand, and we encourage our clients who have little kids. I would just want to keep the house for a year. I just want to keep it
Or
till this
till
kid
you graduate high
for
school.
that for sure.
Mhm.
But, we have couples with many children where the kids are already in elementary school, in middle school. They want the kids to at least have that stability and continuity while they're going through the divorce and maybe for a short time after.
Now, how does that work? I mean, how can you make that happen? Is there like an agreement where you have to put the house on the market in 3 years from blah, blah, blah?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And then you decide, okay, you're moving out, you're going to rent your own place. Can you afford to do that with the child support, spousal support I'm giving you? Or if you have a 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, I mean, now with interest rates so high and the housing market such a problem in terms of availability and being able to sell your house and all of that, we have people who are splitting the mortgage and the rental for the person who moves out, or they're nesting for a year. You don't want to encourage nesting forever where you're sharing the house and one's moving out and in when
I
they
love the nesting idea.
I do too. As long as it's short term,
Mhm.
because then you have to set up rules for, you need to do the laundry before I come back in the house. You need to have run the dishwasher.
The only thing that yes, I was about to say, the only thing about nesting that would bug me is, like, you're such at odds with your ex-husband, and now you come into the house and maybe, like, his dirty clothes are on the floor, and you're thinking, "Ugh," like, or, like, he didn't do the kitchen's a mess.
Or simpler, he didn't buy milk so I can give the kids cereal in the morning before I take them to school.
Oh.
It could just be something like you need to agree to restock the refrigerator with all the kids' favorite foods. And maybe I like peanut butter. You better have peanut butter in the fridge for me when you go to the grocery store. Whatever it is, the more rules the couple needs so that they can comfortably nest.
And how about you ate my food? I bought that for myself, and then it's gone.
Yes, all the time. All the time.
Ellen, thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
Really enjoyed having you on and love all your information.
Me too.
So to my listeners, if you want to consult with Ellen and or Brian, you can find them at celandassociates.com. You can also find them under Mediation on the Divorced Girl Smiling website, which is divorcedgirlsmiling.com. And if you go to divorcedgirlsmiling.com, you can read articles, listen to more podcasts, find other trusted, vetted divorce professionals, or sign up for my free consult. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you real soon.